My fellow countrymen, my fellow Americans, if you have children, grandchildren, doesn't matter what side of the aisle, Democrat, Republican, Independent, doesn't matter. You need to listen to what I have to say. We have found evidence of all 50 states that are actively committing treason and sedition against the people of every state. We will include in the links below that you will see where to obtain the evidence as a form of PDF. We also encourage you to go to the Truth Hurts with a Z for the Hurts podcast. It's under Malibu Dallas's page, the link to his podcast. Watch part 1 and part 2 that CPS has a military problem. With this evidence, it is proof that each and every elected and appointed official is using state and federal tax funds to train and put their foot soldiers on your state soil to violate your constitutional rights. That's right, they are training people to violate your rights with your tax dollars. That is treason and sedition. This evidence has been turned over to the United States Army, Criminal Investigative Division, the CID. That way, that evidence is to get to the Kraken. This will go along and help them explain and understand what exactly they are looking at. It is evidence from each state highlighted of the treason and sedition that they are training their people to commit these crimes against the American people. Now, you'll notice how I said appointed and elected officials and actors, or I'll include actors. That's because we, the people, are the government. And this is hard evidence that they are kidnapping children for profit. And then, after committing those constitutional crimes, those felonies, they are moving you into a civil courtroom to adjudicate you with no jury. SEC Jarsky is very specific that civil cases must have a trial by jury over a certain amount. Now, that money may not come out of your pocket, but understand they are filing under Title IV of Social Security to obtain federal funds, as well as pushing you towards child advocacy centers and state-run facilities that they collaborate to suck your money and your time dry with courts. Now, understand, some of you may have had warrants of entry or court orders. Understand that there has to be firsthand knowledge or experience for those to be issued by only an Article 1 or Article 3 courtroom. That's very easy to find out by calling the courtroom that you were involved in if there was a warrant issued. Now, let me clarify. They are very good at what they do, and they have been trained very well. If you have let them in your house and they say, well, they let me in. Well, no. They cannot enter under federal case law your home without a warrant or an emergency. And it's also been ruled that an anonymous call is not justifiable means to get a warrant. That means constitutionally enter your home. They have broken the law. The judge therefore goes on, says anything else is coercion. Now, they're going to make you feel like you let them in, but once again, did you call them? Were you the one that initiated for them to come out to your home? If not, then they have coerced their way in. Now, in some states, and yes, it's this bad, that they also involve police officers or tell them to call police officers to gain entry into your home without a warrant. All their immunities are stripped. They have committed a federal felony. Now, we have also turned this over to FBI and DOJ. Why? They're not going to investigate treason. They don't handle that. The only court in the land that deals with that is a military tribunal, which is why it was turned over to Army CID. And that's at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And it's on its way to the Kraken. You don't know what the Kraken is? Well, Hopefully you're going to find out. On top of that, the evidence will also be delivered to another base, to an Army CID, to make sure that it is double coveraged and make sure it's not tampered with. Now, the FBI and the Department of Justice will deal with the fraud cases. Criminal actions that have defrauded you, the state, and the taxpayers for state and federal funding because it has happened to you. That means they have collected funds on your case, federally or from state taxpayers, to commit these crimes. Folks, to steal your children. That's how bad this is. This is enough under the Constitution for us to remove all elected and appointed officials, even these judges. Now, the FBI is going to want to know simple things. We got to keep it within the lanes. It deals with 4th, 14th, and 7th Amendment. Did you have a trial by jury? No. SEC versus Jarsky. You got to have a jury. Other cases that come through, and that's in the evidence. SEC Jarsky did not make the cut. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get it. It may be in there. I could be wrong. It's been crazy lately. The other thing is that they do not have a right to enter your home without a warrant. Remember I said without probable cause or firsthand experience to get that warrant or the right one? That means they can't get it, even if they've had an anonymous tip. That means that judge wrote a warrant illegally under that case law. Your constitutional rights have been violated. Now, on top of that, they have adjudicated these cases under fraud. Why? Because each state has said to its employees and or subcontractors, you have a right to go in and question. No, there is federal case law that is specific towards your constitutional rights that says that is illegal. That means you now have a case to file a federal civil suit against everyone involved. Now, the information that's going to be released, I encourage you to watch part 1 and part 2 on the Truth Hurts podcast, labeled CPS may have a military problem. It will explain everything in great detail. Now, within that, you're going to follow the link over to Dallas that we have in there that goes with the form that has all the evidence. You put your name and your email address, and we take and send that to you. Why? Because that same people that we're sending it out to, that contact information, will be turned over to Army CID to follow up with each case as it progresses, that you are bearing witness that this has happened to you. This is the only way they come down, is all of us coming together. It's not a petition. It's filing criminal charges and showing that we have the evidence that they are committing constitutional crimes and that these crimes have been perpetrated upon the people. That's why we need it. Now, you have to keep, I know you've had a lot going on in your cases, much more than that. Deal with that in your civil case. The FBI, DOJ only needs to go with the part we can prove that they printed, that they have a right to enter your home and question you to come in your home. And they put it in there several times. We'll visit the home. You need a court order specifically with the guidelines of what you're there to do. Each visit they come in, each time they enter, requires a warrant. If they did not do that, you qualify for this, and we need your help. All 50 states. The only way this happens is we band together, file this report, now take that evidence that you have and let them sift through on a federal case level what else you can take and go in there, including everybody involved. Guys, this is real. We already know what's been happening, that CPS provided kids for the Diddy parties in several states. That's multiple CPSs involved. Guys, they are trafficking your children. It's time for it to stop. The Constitution says it's illegal. Let's do this. Let's do it together. God bless you. And let's take this thing down. Welcome to the reckoning, folks.